Um, yeah, sorry, I'm joining from East London, and I work at Sajida's nursery. So we use oil diffusers in the setting, and actually spray as well, sometimes for pillows. So yeah, I think, well, my manager just told me to join so that I'm aware and trained to use them. I have a personal interest in them as well, and I've sort of grown up having lavender on my pillow, and I use diffusers in the home. And I actually have this book, Christine Westwood's aromatherapy book, so it's just quite a thin book, and I sometimes just you can just flick through and have a look at the benefits of each oil, so I find that quite useful. But yeah, so I'm interested to learn more as well.
Thank you. It looks a bit like a kind of a classic, that book, is it?
Yeah, it's just a guide for home use.
Yeah, looks really nice.
Sorry, it's probably backwards for you.
Lovely, thank you. Yeah, so you sort of use them a little bit for personal use, and also sounds like you're using them in your work setting, and so you're kind of looking to learn a little bit about, also using them safely as well.
Yeah, safely around children, and also I tend to just use some of them just because I like the smell as opposed to like the actual benefit, so that's what I'm quite interested to learn about.
Yeah, I will definitely be covering both of those things, so I'll be, this is an intro class, an introductory, so we're not kind of going to anything in great detail, but I'm touching on the different ways you can use the doTERRA oils, and I say doTERRA oils just because they're very pure, it does give us a slightly broader range of ways that we can use them. And then I'll be talking about safety, and I'll be covering the top 10. We have kind of a core 10, if you like, that they cover a lot of different uses. So I'll be just summarizing like the top kind of 3 or 4 uses for each oil. And at the end, I'll also be kind of sharing, if anybody doesn't already have them and also want to get them, that's also something that I'll be sharing at the end. I know some people here already have them, and other people are here for just learning. So yeah, I'll certainly be covering all those bits off, Phoebe.
Great, thank you.
Lisa.
Yeah, just to warn you, I might have to jump off if my 6-month-old wakes up. So yeah, I actually know Sajida, and she gave me the essential oils as a present, but I don't really know how to use them, even though actually I was sniffing a lot of lavender when I was in labour. And just loved the different smells, but never really learned how to use them or anything. So as she's given me the kit, she just recommended I jump on here and learn more about it.
Yeah, so that's also a reason for joining. Sometimes people do it like this way around. They get the oils for whatever reason first, and they never actually came to the class first, so they kind of come on the class to learn. Yeah, like you say, to learn like those introductory kind of bits. So yeah, welcome in to you. Was it the family essentials, the top 10 kit or something else?
That's it. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. All right, cool. So that's what we'll be talking about this evening. Okay. Yes, who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Okay.
So I have got the essential oils top 10. I've added other oils since, and I absolutely love doing it. I just need to know more about them. I just want to learn more.
Okay.
And I've been doing the essential oils experience this last week with Catherine. Okay. So it's just a follow on really from that.
Perfect. Thank you, Jill. So just building on the knowledge that you've already got. Basically. Perfect. Liz? If Liz isn't there right now, Jenna, oh, you are there. Do you want to unmute, Liz?
Oh, yeah. Cats are doing interesting things. Yeah, I've just been doing the week with Catherine, looking at the benefits and what you can do with oils. Something I've always had really, and liked, but never really explored what the actual properties are and how to use them, and the variety of ways you can use them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. Like for me, I was the same, and I think some other people have already shared that. I think Phoebe, you were saying that often we just get drawn to them initially just because we like the smell of them, and we're like, well, these smell nice, let's start, you know, diffusing them or whatever. But then over time, kind of our interest gets piqued a little bit further, and we're like, okay, what can these actually do? And I think with a pure essential oil like doTERRA's as well, where historically we might have just been drawn to like a regular essential oil to fragrance our room, literally just to fragrance our room. When you're working with a pure oil, it's all of a sudden you're like, actually, I can use this as a tool to support my health and well-being if I want to as well. And then that obviously opens out a whole lot of other things to sort of explore and learn. So yes, I will be sharing some of the benefits and uses, as I said, of the top 10. So thank you, Liz. Jenna, are you there?
Hi, yeah, sorry. So I'm a novice when it comes to essential oils.
Okay.
Just kind of in the past 18 months or so, I've started a qualification in yoga. Okay. So as part of that, I've been exploring kind of different, more traditional kind of ways to I guess, yeah, just live a happier, healthier, more calm lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I've been just exploring and trying to feed my brain with knowledge about how I might do that. And just through that kind of research and journey, just came across this topic and just wanted to know more, really. So I think similar to Phoebe mentioned, I've always kind of loved scented candles.
Mm-hmm.
Really understood what the different routes are, and how other ways to kind of maximize them. So I'm just here to learn from the very bottom up, I suppose.
Nice, beautiful, thank you. Okay, and then Alessandra, I think you just recently joined. We're just sort of saying hello, and if there's anything that we would like to learn specifically this evening. I'm just going to unmute you if you are there. Yeah, do please feel free to say hi.
Hi, hello. I'm sorry, I just joined you. This is new for me. It was my friend who gave me this course as a present, and I'm just kind of, yes, interested in general, but nothing specific. I'm just here to be surprised, actually.
That's fine. Thank you, Alessandra. Who invited you, may I ask?
Carolina.
Oh, Carolina, lovely. All right, perfect.
Okay.
All right, welcome. Okay, so what we're going to start with is if you do have lemon, if you don't have lemon, orange would be fine as well. Lemon preferably, and also peppermint if you have peppermint to hand. And we're going to try the oils in a drink. So only use like doTERRA oils, unless, you know, like broadly speaking, there are very, very few oils in the world where they are pure enough to take internally. So that's why I'm just sort of saying, you know, we're just, a lot of what I say tonight is specifically on doTERRA oils because we know that they're 100% pure, but I can't speak for other brands and other oils that you might have in your homes. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to take our glass of cold water. And if you've got the tiny little bottles, it depends. I know some of you have said you know you're here already with your big box of oils. So if you've got a box like this, you'll have your kind of full size bottle. This is kind of what the top 10 comes in. If you get the small bottle size, so you can get your lemon oil out, or maybe you've got the kit like this, which is the large bottle size. Or you're going to have one of these little guys, these little small bottles, if you would just send sort of a few oils for this class. So if it's a big bottle, if you just, we call it eyeballing out. So you just sort of, I like to kind of get under my oil so I can see the drop as it comes, and I just measure, I just watch one drop come. You can do this onto a teaspoon. If you're worried you're going to get more than one drop. If you're doing it out of the tiny little bottles, actually 3 taps, you'll need to tap it with your index finger like this. to try and avoid shaking it, because I find when I shake it, I either miss the glass or I'm not really sure exactly how many taps I just got out. If you can sort of do 3 taps out of here is the same as 1 drop out of a regular size bottle. And we're going to stir the oil in with your teaspoon and have a lovely little taste of it. So just to say, you know, some people come into essential oil classes and the concept of even putting an oil in water and drinking it or internalizing it is, for some people goes against everything they thought or they knew or they had been told up to this point. And I think what we need to remember is that you know, traditionally speaking, our frame of reference is probably been around the assumption that the majority of essential oils out there are either not completely pure or synthetic. And that's why we've always been told, you know, don't internalize oils, do not put them neat on your skin. And actually, when we have a pure essential oil, not always, we don't always put oils on our skin neat, and we don't always, not all essential oils are suitable for internal use, but many are. With topical use on the skin, it's still a good idea to dilute the oils, but it's just a kind of a side note to know that with a pure oil, there is the option to use it neat in many cases, and we'll go into that a bit more. So for those of you that have tried the lemon oil, it is important to stir the oils into water, because otherwise oil and water, right, they don't mix. And if you don't stir it in, you pretty much will get all the oil that you put in the glass in your mouth in that first mouthful. So yeah, what did you guys think of that? Who's had a go at trying that?
It's very refreshing, isn't it? It's very
very zingy.
Yeah, I was just going to say refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really nice. Is there any kind of like big differences between, say, that and fresh lemon in terms of health differences?
Yeah, so when you're getting essential oils from, obviously they've come from plants, so they come from different parts of a plant depending on the essential oil. So in the case of lemon oil, obviously it comes from citrus, but the difference between, you know, squeezing half a lemon, for example, which is coming from the juice, versus having a drop of the essential oil, which is coming from like the rind and the pith, is, first of all, there is a difference, you know, in the chemistry. It's not like for like, because one is juice and one is, you know, oil. So there is a difference in terms of the chemistry and what they can do, but often, broadly speaking, you do get kind of similar benefits. But the thing to remember with essential oils is that they are massively concentrated compared to having the raw plant material. So having a squeeze of lemon or having fresh mint tea, for example, you are going to get a lot more benefits and a lot more concentrated benefits. So for example, well, let me just ask you a question. So lemon oil, it's very high in something called D-limonene, which you don't need to remember, but D-limonene is amazing for supporting detoxification. So that's one of the key benefits. So I think of lemon, I have got some slides which I'll share with you in a bit as well. But lemon oil is, I think of it as an oil for cleansing internally and externally. And by that, I mean, it's great for cleaning your house as well as your insides. So, you know, that's why what I love about these essential oils is they're so versatile, because we all on this call, everybody on this call, might have a different area of interest. You know, some of us might be wanting to drink the oils and support our internal health. Others might want to get some toxins out of our home and you know, use them, incorporate them in green cleaning. Others might want to use them to support like personal care and I know for me, I love to use them as kind of like anti-aging, and you know, I like to make lotions and potions and body scrubs, and you know, so what I like about them is they're very versatile, and it doesn't really matter you know, what, you can use them for anything, you know, even gardening, even pet care. Yeah, let me just come back to where we were. So yeah, so the nice thing about lemon oil as well is that, for example, when we're drinking it, you have to be quite careful of your tooth enamel if you're drinking lemon juice. But actually the oil isn't the same. The oil is not acidic in the mouth. So, you know, there's actually a lot of benefits. It's not to say that, you know, it's lovely to be consuming, you know, the fresh, you know, we don't want to necessarily go, oh, right, we're never going to consume fresh mint leaves and fresh citrus again. I think there's a place for both, and they're actually really great together. You know, if you have your glass of water, you know, with your drop of lemon oil in it, because you know that the health benefits are incredible. But then you might have a slice of lemon because it looks beautiful, and you get different benefits. You get vitamin C, for example, from, you know, the lemon juice. You don't tend to get nutrients like vitamins and, you know, etc. from essential oils, but you do get loads of other incredible things. So, and the other thing is they're often cheaper. So for example, you know, think about how much a lemon costs you when you go and buy a lemon. It can vary, I don't know, like 30p to a pound, depending on where you live and if it's organic. A drop of lemon oil is 3p. And it's less fat, and it's more convenient. So, you know, there's lots of benefits when you think about it. You know, I always say, I'm not going to have every citrus fruit in my fruit bowl. And I'm not going to have, I'd love to have every fresh herb on my windowsill, but actually I'm probably not going to, you know, be that organized and have that all through the year. But I can over time build up a beautiful collection of oils and have them on my kitchen shelf, and, you know, use them. So what we're going to do now, for those of you that, you know, have got the oils and are kind of, yeah, you were invited to obviously have the glass of hot water, the mug of hot water and the glass of cold, is we're going to do exactly the same as what we've just done with the lemon oil, but we're going to make a peppermint tea. So I call this a peppermint oil tea. I love this drink. So if you've got the small bottle, the tiny the baby bottle, I would just do 1 or 2 taps. So we're going to do a tiny bit less if you've got the tiny, you know, the little baby bottles, just because peppermint is a really intense, strong oil. If you have, if your mug, it might not be because we've been talking a little while now, but if your mug is really steaming still, wait for it to cool down before you put your head over it, because it's beautiful, but the peppermint fumes, if you were to put the oil in, you know, a steaming hot cup of, sometimes people kind of get a little bit like, wow, that was a bit intense in the eyes and up the nose. And again, remember to stir it. If you've just got a regular bottle of peppermint oil, just do 1 drop. If you aren't measuring it out onto a teaspoon and you accidentally put 2 drops, you will probably need to top it up with some extra water, because it will be probably a bit strong. You know, you could actually do 2 drops in a teapot and it would serve, you know, a lot of people. And, you know, to Jenna's question, the reason why I think that, you know, essential oils have a real place in the kitchen and internally if you choose. So, you know, it is just another option, guys. It's like if internal use for whatever reason doesn't sit with you, that's also absolutely fine. And we're only talking about internal use first because, you know, I like to get people trying the oils before I start teaching the main part of the class, but we will be talking about other ways to use oils as well. But the reason why I think they've got a wonderful place is because this peppermint oil tea that we're drinking right now, so if we did 1 drop from a regular size bottle, or 3 taps from our little tiny bottle, you know, there's over, well, let me ask you, like, how many cups of herbal tea, so if we were to make peppermint tea with a tea bag, how many cups of that do you think you would have to have approximately the same benefits as what we've got right here in our peppermint oil tea? What are your guesses? Let me take some guesses. You can either type it in or unmute.
10.
Okay, 10. Yep, great. Anyone else? Another couple. What do you reckon, Jill? You're not allowed to cheat, by the way. I don't know what you call it.
Am I allowed to cheat?
No, you're not.
All right. I know.
Okay, shit on those. So Jenna said 3. Lisa, you said 10, right? Yeah, it's over 20. So yeah, so for me, you know, that is why I want to, you know, I love to take oils this way. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm just going to ask you guys if you've got any questions before I kind of move on and share some slides with you and kind of do the main part of the class. Nope. Okay. So could Lisa or Jill give me a nod if you can see those slides, because you're the only 2 I can now see. Now I've started to share. Thank you. All right, so this is me. I haven't introduced myself to you guys yet. Some of you know me. So I live down in Brighton in Sussex, and I have been sharing doTERRA and helping people get started and integrate essential oils into their homes and their lives for almost 5 years now. I've been on a kind of a natural journey of health for around 20 years, and I've been working in nutrition for over 10. And I do other little bits, like I'm quite well known for teaching raw chocolate classes. That's a kind of a passion of mine, eating it, making it, teaching it. Yeah, I'm a mum of two boys. And yeah, I'm excited to be sharing what I know about these essential oils this evening. So yeah, what I'm all about and what I've always been about, and actually the nutrition that I learnt, naturopathic nutrition, is exactly the same. It's all about empowering others. So it's, rather than being like this pinnacle of, you know, where people feel they need to keep coming back to somebody to almost like giving their health away, you know, their power away. It's all about kind of hopefully inspiring you guys to get excited enough about oils to, you know, be at a point where you then decide if there's something that you could see, you know, using to support your health and wellness at home. And just to give people, you know, like, some people don't realize that there's another way to pharmaceuticals, and other people do, but perhaps this is just a lovely additional, you know, essential oils can be another additional tool in your sort of, what am I trying to say, medical box, you know, medicine cabinet at home. So this here is a little chart that we use in doTERRA that really helps us think about what things are we doing in our lives, that all these things below that dotted line are different things, that aspects of our life that we can think about that all influence our health and our well-being and that of our families. So just have a look at those 4 areas and just, you know, quietly to yourself, just perhaps highlight, you know, which 1 or 2 areas are maybe the 2 for you that you could make the biggest improvement. You know, those, if you're like, oh my God, my diet, I just feel my, you know, my diet's appalling right now, or I could really do with getting more sleep. Sleep's definitely the biggest thing for me, you know, whatever it might be, just kind of either write it down or just be aware, because what we're going to do this evening, is I'm going to be sharing with you mainly oils, but a few wellness products as well, because doTERRA is a wellness company as well as an essential oil company. Different things that, along with lifestyle, can help support these areas, and ultimately, you know, if we are happy and healthy, then we can kind of live our best lives and also be in the best possible place to support our family and those close to us. So I sometimes call this class Natural Solutions class, and really, you know, I'm not against the medical world. I'm really grateful that we have an NHS, and absolutely, you know, if there was an acute health situation in my life, you know, I would be and have been there like a shot. But I think we have I think sometimes we go to the pharmacy or the doctor maybe too quick, and there's often, you know, as I've talked about, other things we could do first. And there is a hell of a lot of money that goes into our healthcare system. And I'm just letting someone else in, wait for a second, guys. And
Wow.
there's more money that has gone into it than ever before. And you know, the question has to be, are we any healthier? And you know, I think we can all safely say we're not. And the thing is, with medication, yes, sometimes it's absolutely needed, but often it isn't, and it can cause more problems than it can solve with, you know, the accumulation of you know, additional toxins and then side effects, and it can create a vicious cycle. So if it's appropriate and we start with a natural option first, it can actually support our body. Our body actually wants to express wellness if we give it the right environment and the right conditions. And yeah, by using a natural option, not only do we not have these same side effect concerns, but we actually have side benefits at the same time. So we might be, for example, when we had the peppermint oil tea just now, you know, well, I'm going to ask you guys actually, what did you experience when you drank the peppermint oil? Did you notice anything when you had that tea? Feel free to unmute or type in the chat. Okay. What did you notice? Did you notice anything particular? Who tried the peppermint oil? Did many of you try it?
Yes.
Hello?
Come on.
Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really nice. I used to drink peppermint tea when I had stomach aches, and I had one yesterday, and I didn't even think to put oil in the water, and it's like, oh god, if I had this drink yesterday, it would have really helped with my stomach ache. So
yeah, it's well known for tummy stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did anybody notice anything in like this part of the body when they had the tea?
Where are you looking? Sorry, where were you showing, Sarah?
Oh, the head.
It's just really, it sort of opens you up, doesn't it? It's, yeah,
exactly. So it's a decongestant. It supports respiratory health. It's great for energy, alertness, concentration. And yeah, and it's just an energy one. You know, for me, when I smell peppermint, I'm like, oh, it just gives me that little boost. And so, you know, when we are coming back to the slides, you know, the side benefits, we might be like, Lisa might be having some peppermint oil tea for her digestive discomfort. But the side benefit is that you might feel a little energized, or your nose clears, or your respiratory system is getting supported at the same time. So it's true, like when we hear that word holistic, that we hear that word so much, but with essential oils, we truly are, they really are tools to support us in a holistic way, which means, you know, general health, because we can't fail to support multiple areas of our body, like different body systems all at the same time. We're only reaching for one oil to support a specific thing normally, but it's going to be supporting so many other things at the same time, and I just love that. All right, so what we're going to do, just to kind of make this easy and simple, I'm going to talk about 3 cool things that I'd love you to remember, and 3 ways to use an oil. So use these oils, and then we're just going to go through the top 10, like I said, and then how to get them. So the main things that are good to remember is that they're effective. Okay, so they're effective, they're safe, and they're pure. And we've already talked about how they come from different parts of the plant depending on the oil. So we've tried lemon, that comes from obviously the fruit of a tree. We've tried peppermint, that comes from a leaf. So it's a herb. Well, mint is kind of a class of its own, but it's a herb oil. Other examples are things like bark and root and seeds. And we've talked about how much, you know, how concentrated they are with that peppermint example there. What's also very cool, especially right now, this is very pertinent in this current climate, is did you know that, you know, like traditionally, if we've gone to see the doctor and we've had some kind of viral infection, I'm going to ask you guys on the call, what typically would a doctor do if we went to them and we had a virus?
They won't give us anything, would they? They won't be able to give us anything. They'd just say, drink lots of water and sleep.
Exactly, yeah. And the reason for that is because there isn't much that can influence a virus, because you see that picture of a cell there, the pink thing with the little spiky bits, that's a virus, and viruses are super clever. They hide out inside our cells, and even most medications can't get through the cell wall into where the virus is hiding out. So the reason being because around each cell is a layer of fat, and it's called a phospholipid membrane. And most medications are water-based. And what do we know about water and oil? Yeah, they don't mix, exactly. So what's super, super cool about an essential oil is because it's lipid-based, because it's an oil, lipid-based things can get through the cell. Not all essential oils, but many can. So this is super exciting. I mean, I, as a nutritionist as well, like I can work with people, you know, I know it's very hard, even, you know, working naturally with people, to get stuff inside cells and to help that cell become permeable and allow nutrients in, right? Even like our food, which is, that's, you know, that's why we eat food, and we're trying to get it into our cells. So for me, when I was at my first one of these classes that you're on right now, this was like one of the most exciting things to me, that that an essential oil could potentially get inside a cell. I just was so excited about that. It was massive. So yeah, so they're effective, and as it says there, you know, they're pennies per dose. So we've talked about that already. The lemon oil that we had in our water at the beginning, you know, it's 3 or 4p for 1 drop. So, you know, sometimes we can be like, we can look at a bottle of oil, or we can look at a collection, you know, one of the starter kits. And sometimes we can be like, oh, that's quite expensive. That feels like, oh, I don't know about that. But actually, if you break it down by how much is 1 drop costing, and I love to think about, you know, what would I be using instead? And how much does that cost? So for example, if I then start thinking about, you know, we talked about peppermint oil. It's also great for head tension, peppermint oil. So you can dilute it, put it on your temples. You know, if you're somebody that does or used to use medication, you know, how much is that going to cost you? And it's like, you know, what would we be doing instead? That probably also has a cost. And taking that one step further, you know, say we're using an oil, this On Guard oil, which we'll be speaking about in a minute, which is it's an immune oil. You know, imagine like being off work sick also has a cost, right? Like it has quite a big cost, you know, having to take sick days either because you or your children are sick, or time off work to go to a doctor, or, you know, whatever it might be. So I think that's a good thing to remember as well. And then the purity and safety is the third thing. And what doTERRA do, they have, they do something called third-party testing. They do more testing than anybody that I've come across in the industry. And they actually are personally invested in doing an incredible amount to ensure that their oils are 100% pure. But then they also have it third-party tested to kind of, you know, because they, for an outsider, we need to have something more, don't we, than just the company telling us that their oils are pure. So they have a company called the Aromatic Plant Research Centre, and they do doTERRA's third-party testing. And doTERRA are the only company in the world who publish their quality reports for all to see on a website called source2u.com. And I'm just going to hold up a bottle here. So I'm going to hold up this lavender bottle, and you won't be able to see the exact number, but you can kind of see some yellow writing, hopefully. It's a little bit faint. But if you have a big bottle at home yourself, it tends to be on the single oils rather than the blends. You'll have a serial number. And you can go on to source2u.com and you can have a look at the quality report. You definitely should do this if you've never done it. And I love this because to me, it gives me complete transparency that these oils are completely pure. The Aromatic Plant Research Centre have done independent testing, and only 3 companies out of 50 actually have had pure essential oils. So the majority, it's really important, this discussion, it's really important to understand that the majority, sadly, of essential oils out there are not pure. All right, so this bit here, more and more people these days are interested and concerned about the story behind, you know, what, in this case, the story behind the bottle, like where are the oils coming from, and what kind of business practices does the company do. So if this interests you, Google co-impact sourcing doTERRA. But really what this is all about is, it's kind of like, you can kind of think of it as fair trade but better. doTERRA are really invested in supporting the formation of cooperatives, and they purposely support the many rather than the few. So rather than having farms, and you know, it would be cheaper and way easier just to have a handful of farms, but they actually support the formation of cooperatives all over the world, and actually it just means that more lives are being lifted in the process. Okay, so this is the last little bit before we move on to the 10 oils. So have most of you on the call got On Guard? Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have a little smell of On Guard now. So have it ready, and we're actually going to use it aromatically. So what we're going to do with On Guard is three taps if you've got the little bottle. If you haven't, 1 drop. So I'm going to do my 1 drop into the palm of my hand, and I'm going to rub my hands together. I tend to avoid the fingers. Doesn't matter if you have already done it, but I avoid the fingers because then it just means I don't scratch my eyes later and get oil into my eyes. And then I normally recommend 5 deep breaths with the eyes closed, and you just kind of gauge how far or how close, is a good, comfortable, enjoyable distance for you. And this particular oil I mentioned a minute ago, it's doTERRA's immune support. It's their protective blend. It's called On Guard. and I'll tell you a little bit about it in a second. But who's on the call that doesn't already know what's in it? What do you think might be in this from smelling it? Any ideas? You can unmute yourself if you would like, or type it in the chat.
This nutmeg.
So almost, yeah. There are 2 spice oils in there.
Is there black pepper in it?
No. No, there's
Cinnamon.
yes, cinnamon is one of them. Was that you, Georgina?
Yes.
Yes, well done. Yeah, cinnamon is in there. So
Is there cloves?
Clove is in there. Yeah. So you guys.
Yes, clove.
Well done. So you've got the spice oils, and there's 3 other oils in there. I won't make you guess all of them, but see if someone can guess maybe one more.
Is this? I don't even know if this is an oil. Sandalwood.
Oh yeah, it is an oil. It is an oil. Yeah, but it's not in there. I'll give you a clue. I'll give you a clue, guys. There's a citrus oil in there.
Okay.
Orange.
Yeah. Who said that? Who said that? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this one I think it smells quite Christmassy. I don't know about you guys. It's got that kind of, yeah. So the other 2 are rosemary and eucalyptus, which I think they're a bit less obvious, but yeah, so this one, it's a very popular blend within doTERRA because, well, especially at the moment, but actually always, because you know, during the winter months, you know, most people want to think about immune support anyway. And yeah, there's many different ways you can use it. On this particular slide, you can see we've got it as suggestions, one oil that you could take internally, but actually you can use On Guard in any of the ways. So I'm just going to run through the ways. So aromatically is how we have just used our On Guard. So aromatically basically just means that we're smelling the oil, and it's a really good way just to get the oil into the system really fast. And it also is a great way to impact our emotional health, so our mind and our mood. And then topical use. So topical use, we haven't done that yet, but topical use, you know, I gave the example of peppermint for head tension. Or we might use an oil. We could also use peppermint actually for any type of tension. So we could use it on our shoulders, for example. Also with the On Guard oil, if we wanted to use it for immune support, and for whatever reason, but maybe we don't love the smell of On Guard, so we don't want to use it aromatically, but we still want to get the benefits, we could actually rub it directly into the soles of our feet. Or some people do the pulse points, but just somewhere where the veins are kind of close to the outside of the skin. The feet within doTERRA, it's a popular way. You'll hear it a lot because it's also a place where you don't really need to worry about skin sensitivities. That's why it's a particularly good area. And there's a lot of capillaries. So it really, the body sucks it in and just circulates it around the body. Adults can usually get away with using oils neat on their feet, even if it's an oil that normally we might kind of think of as a hot oil. And we'll talk about that in a second. You know, hot oil is something you might normally dilute. And then internal use, kind of talked about that quite a lot at the beginning when we were trying our lemon and our peppermint. We're either using it for health supportive benefits or for food flavoring benefits. They're sort of the 2 main reasons. But you can get, I haven't got one to show you, but you can get empty capsules. doTERRA call them veggie caps, and you can pull them apart. You could put a couple of drops of your On Guard oil in, for example. You could close them back up, and then you literally take them as you would any other kind of dietary supplement. Some people like to put a bit of olive oil in, so they might keep a little dropper bottle of olive oil in their kitchen. And you can, if you choose, you know, in these little veggie caps, you can choose to put a couple of drops of olive oil in alongside. So this is really just showing you, if you're choosing aromatic use, this is what's happening. This is why it's such an effective way, smelling an oil. This is how and why it's affecting our mind and our mood and our emotional health. When we smell something, the constituents in oil, they naturally want to evaporate into the air, and so they go up our nose, and the back of our nose, it kind of like, think of it as connecting to our brains. And so there's this little, it's called the olfactory receptor, and we smell it, and some of the constituents have the ability to then kind of pass through and influence our neurotransmitters, our brain chemicals. So things like serotonin, things like dopamine, which governs things like motivation and satisfaction. Serotonin we've heard of, that's our happy hormone. Things like GABA, which influences how calm we're feeling. So it's really fascinating, and it works really fast. So safety, generally speaking, they are super, super safe. We don't want to be like pouring essential oil into any orifices. So that's just kind of one safety note. Don't be pouring essential oil into your ears, your eyes, your nose, any other orifices that you can think of. If you did by accident, like we've just talked about, scratching your eyes, and all of a sudden your eyes are feeling a bit, you're not going to damage yourself, but it might feel uncomfortable. And the main thing to remember is, rather than washing it out, try and remember not to use water, because water and oil don't mix. And actually the water might encourage the essential oil actually to go further into the tissues, and it doesn't actually feel better. It sometimes feels like worse when you use water. What you want to do is, if you've got oils already, you might already have doTERRA's carrier oil, which is fractionated coconut oil, liquid at room temperature, no color, so it doesn't stain, no aroma. It's just a really lovely, easily absorbed oil. But whatever you've got doesn't have to be that. It can be olive oil from your kitchen, even, just anything, any oil, apply it. If it's your eyes, you might want to put it on cotton wool first, and that sensation will go within seconds. The only other thing to caution is citrus oils. Don't put them on your skin and go in really hot sun for really long times, or a sunbed, because they have a property that we call photosensitive. It just means that you'll get burnt. So that's on the skin. Drinking them's fine, smelling them's fine, and it's only within 12 hours of using them. All right. So any questions before we move on to the 10 oils?
I have.
Okay.
Why would you put olive oil in a veggie cap with your essential oils?
Yes, great question. So some people prefer the idea of diluting the essential oil in a fatty substance, so it's dispersed,
right, before
internalizing it.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a, some people really think that's important, and others don't worry about it at all. So it's kind of a personal preference. But it's the same with a bath. If you put essential oils in the bath, if you didn't put anything else in your bath apart from essential oil, water and oil don't mix. And what ends up happening is the few drops of essential oil you've put in the bath end up just clumping on your skin, because there's nothing to disperse and to help kind of separate it and split it up. So in the case of a bath, there's many things: Epsom salts, bubble bath, vodka, apparently, milk or milk powders, because they've got a fatty kind of oily quality to them.
Ooh, right. Yeah. Very good.
Anyone else?
I just had a question, Sarah. You mentioned about pulse points.
Yeah.
So I was under the impression people put oil on pulse points just because it was like a convenient place, away from clothing, and was a place that kind of moved around, so you got the scent. But were you inferring that the oil actually permeates the skin and then goes into the bloodstream? Is that what you meant?
Yeah, it is what I meant. Yeah, it's both. So what you've said is completely, yeah, that is what is normally inferred by it as well. And my preference is the feet, but yeah, you know, you can even see the veins, can't you, on the wrists? You know, it is very, so they are gonna, you know, they can get into the system more easily. It's the same with the back of the neck as well. That's another common place. Yeah. Yeah, so it's both, you know, the heat and, you know, for perfumes and things as well, you know, putting them on the pulse points. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. All right, so I'm just going to sort of invite you now.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I've got a question.
Sure.
I kind of know that oil and water does not mix.
Yeah.
Now, if you think you want to put it in your bath, one of the essential oils, what will act as an enzyme, sort of an enzyme or something to make it mix? Is there something?
Yeah. So in the bath to disperse it, is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah. So we can use either some bath oil, some bubble bath, some Epsom salts. Some people use vodka. I think that sounds, I personally, I don't want to be putting vodka in my bath. Some people use coconut milk powder, you know, or milk, because again, it's just like an oily substance that's going to help it disperse.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so just before, literally, honestly, the next slide, we are talking about the 10 oils, I promise. What's helpful for you is to think about 2 or 3 things that you'd like to feel less of in your life. Write them down. I won't ask you to share them. It's just for you. And 2 or 3 things that you would just love to feel more of. Ideally, these are things that, you know, if only you could tackle these things, you know, your quality of life, whether it's your emotional quality, you know, how you're feeling about your life, or challenges, you know, in terms of challenges that you have emotionally, or physical challenges, physical ailments, symptoms. So have a think and write 2 or 3 down. Okay, and then as we go through the oils, you know, you might like to write any particular ones down, you know, that kind of cross-reference. Yeah, Jenna, I wouldn't waste the vodka. I know what you mean. There is that as well. Oh dear. All right, so this is what we're talking about, the 10 oils. So the core 10 are 6 single oils and 4 blends. So we've touched on many of them already. I think you guys have got air left, am I right? And lavender, is that what you've got left? Those that were sent oils for the call?
It's balance, isn't it, I think?
Oh, you've got balance, have you?
Mm.
Yeah, I've got lavender left.
Perfect. All right, lovely. Thanks. Yeah, have a go with the vodka, Georgina, and let me know. I haven't ever actually tried it.
That's because I've got it. I've got a bottle of vodka. It has been here for a long time.
Yeah, so use it up. Yeah, if you've got it, use it. Absolutely. All right, guys, so these are the 10 oils. So lemon, we've already talked about. I mentioned, you know, for me, it's an internal cleanser, as in having it in a glass of water, and an external cleanser. So I didn't say at the beginning, actually, you know, obviously I'm not a doctor and these oils are not medications. So, you know, if anybody watching is on any medication or has any kind of chronic long-term health conditions, you know, do check in with your GP or whoever's overseeing your care. The only thing is chances they won't actually know much about essential oils, and so often what happens is then they go, oh no, don't use them. And that is always a bit of a problem. You can potentially go to a pharmacist, because they will understand, you know, the constituents and the oils and the properties versus, you know, how the drugs work, and whether there might be any interactions. So just sort of have that as a bit of a disclaimer, really. So other things we can do with lemon is supporting the mood. So it's a really lovely one to diffuse for cleansing the air, but it's also been known to support relaxed feelings. So it's a great one to stick in your diffuser. It's lovely for focus as well and concentration. The Flume, I'll be mentioning that on 5 of the slides actually. It stands for, well, if you can think of a condition that sounds a bit like flume, and these 4 oils that are in the top 10 can be combined, and they can be used to support the immune system. They can be put in a veggie capsule. So these are the veggie capsules I was talking about. You wouldn't put the tea tree in, but you could combine the tea tree in a rollerball instead, which I'll show you at the end. So yeah, that's lemon. I'm going to keep that one short because I feel like we've already talked about it. So lavender, what we can do with lavender right now is find a different part of our body to put it on. So I could suggest maybe the wrists, because we've already done this. So we could perhaps do the wrists now and do exactly the same as you did with the On Guard. So you could do 3 drops if it's tiny little bottles, 3 taps. Or if it's the regular size bottle, I'm going to do my 1 drop. And I'm going to rub my wrists together. So can you see on here that lavender is, that the symbol is M for neat, which means that unless you have really sensitive skin, you're good to use this neat if you want to. If you did experience any skin sensitivity tonight, as we've already talked about, you know, you can just go to your kitchen and dilute the area with a bit of carrier oil, even if that's olive oil from your kitchen. Have a lovely smell. Beautiful lavender oil. So my question to you guys here is, how do you think this compares to, do you think this smells very similar or not similar at all to maybe the last lavender oil that you maybe used or have smelt in the past?
I have never been able to bear the smell of lavender, but I find this really soothing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't think of any other way to describe it, but you can just tell that it's not like synthetic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You can really, I use a lot of lavender and like I have like pillow sprays.
Okay.
But
yeah.
they're nothing in comparison to the smell of that.
Yeah, thank you. And you know, that's why I asked that question. I was curious, but it comes up a lot, so it's really common. Like, and I haven't like spoken to you in advance or anything, have I, Gemma or Jill? Yeah, so it's really common that people that previously either didn't like lavender, like Jill just said, but they can enjoy this lavender. Yeah. And I believe it's because what we've been conditioned to recognize as lavender oil, it's actually synthetic lavender. It's you know, because there's the majority of the essential oils in the world are made for the perfume industry actually. And what you've got to remember is that they're actually synthetically produced aromas. And so all that lavender, you know, fragrance that we experience, and we've probably been bought for Christmas, and you know, and that's actually, you know, we think we know what lavender oil smells like, but actually maybe, you know, it's quite interesting, isn't it, to flip it on its head and be like, oh, maybe none of that was actually real lavender, and actually this is what real lavender smells like. And Jenna, you know, I think as well, I do know what you mean, because to me, when I smell an oil that isn't pure, it has like an edge to it, like a sharp edge to it. And I think this one's very kind of smooth and gentle and soft. You don't get something at the end where it kind of, you're like, oh. So yeah, I do know what you mean. So you can think of lavender oil as a Swiss Army knife of oils. You know, it's the oil that you can have and will do so many jobs. You know, it really does do many different things. But for me, if I wanted to summarize it, I would say, you know, calming for the mind and the body and for the skin. That's how I would summarize it. But if you look it up in one of our reference books, it has about over 50 uses, you know, really, really broad spectrum. And all these oils have emotional aspects, which is almost like another class, but I put a picture just here for you just to share one of them. I'm not doing this for every oil, but the emotional picture of lavender is communication, and it can help with difficult conversations or people that struggle to find their true voice.
Can I say as well, though, I brought a dish out of the oven with a tea towel, put it on top of the cooker. Then I had my tea towel in this hand and went to pick the dish up with my right hand and burnt my fingers. And I remembered about lavender and I put it on. And it honestly, it took like the next morning, I just couldn't feel it. Well, within a couple of hours, I couldn't feel it. But I must have missed part of my finger, and that had totally burnt more, you know.
Yeah. That's how, one of the ways that, you know, essential oils were given, not discovered, but, you know, the guy that plunged his hand into the vat of lavender oil that burnt himself badly in his lab, he, you know, it was the nearest vat of cool liquid, and he was so remarked at, you know, how quickly it got better, and you know, the discomfort improvement, that it, that opened up a whole load of more studying into essential oils. So peppermint is another one that we've already talked about tonight. So I'm going to go over this one pretty fast. I'm just going to say I love it in anything chocolatey. So if you make things at home with anything chocolatey, it goes amazingly. I actually blend it into coffee. I buy organic coffee and I heat up oat milk. I have sort of half at 50-50 quantities and 1 drop of peppermint oil, and I blend it up, and it's really good. I put it in my raw chocolate as well. We've talked about all the other uses, so I'll move on to tea tree. So Melaleuca is what doTERRA call their tea tree oil. It's the Latin name of the plant, and it's sourced in Australia. And as it says there, first aid for the skin. So if I was to summarize this oil, I would say skin, scalp, cleaning, and first aid. If you've got kids, it's a great one for nits. You know, I put it in my shampoo, and then every time, you know, we wash our hair, it's just a natural, sort of acting as a natural deterrent. You can make sprays up and things with water. And then oregano. So this is a kind of a bit of an unlikely one. It's a really strong, pungent oil. A lot of people are never quite sure what to do with it, or they don't feel very confident with it. But it's kind of one that's really great to have in your arsenal, because it's this one that when all else is failing and you're maybe considering picking up the phone to your GP, because, you know, maybe, you know, something's been going on for a few days and things just aren't improving. What I do is, if I feel okay to do so, I give myself half a day or a day, and this is like my last line of defense, and I'll dilute it and I'll put it on my feet every 2 to 4 hours, and hopefully by the end of the day I'm better. And you know, whenever I've done this with myself with the kids, it's worked a treat. Also good for digestive support. It's a strong oil, but as I said, it's amazing. It's just a really good one. You know, it helps you feel like I've got something in, you know, that if I need to up the ante, this is what I get out. And then we've spoken about this one, we've smelt this one this evening, haven't we? We've had some On Guard, we've talked about what was in it. I've mentioned that you can take it all the ways, and it's doTERRA's best selling blend. Always, actually, not just because of the current climate, but it obviously has gone completely nuts in the current climate. You can also use this one for cleaning. So this is the last one that you can smell, you know, like if you were sent a few oils to smell tonight, get your air out and have a little smell. So either you could put a little bit on the back of your hand, or you could rub some into, if you've got a bit of carrier oil, I didn't ask you to bring some actually, but I mean, you can rub it onto your chest without carrier oil, but you know, if it has got peppermint in it, and peppermint, for some people, it can feel it, you know, some people need to dilute peppermint oil. So if you do decide to rub it on your chest, if it did feel a little bit warm, just add some carrier oil after this call. Or otherwise smell it from the bottle, or, you know, as I say, back of your hand, soles of your feet, rub it in, have a smell, just get familiar with it. So the main smell I get from this is the eucalyptus and the peppermint, but you can see the other oils or plants that go into it. So you've got lemon and cardamom and tea tree in this as well, and also a couple of leaf oils, Ravensara and Ravensara. This is all about opening, you know, like, yeah, can you kind of feel that it's quite an expansive, it's about the, you know, what can you smell, Jill, or feel when you smell this?
It's like clearing all your airways, isn't it?
Yeah, really, massively. It used to be called Breathe, till we can't call it Breathe in Europe anymore. I think because it's so, it tells everybody what it does. So we're not allowed to call it Breathe. Yeah, so it can support the respiratory system. Anything you can think of that, you know, affects the respiratory system, including environmental things, which they start to kind of ramp up at this time of year in the Northern Hemisphere in spring. This is a really good oil. I know lots of people that use this, and they have loads less reliance on conventional medicine as a result. As I've said, obviously don't, you know, work with anybody overseeing your medical care if you're not like suggesting that you come off medication unless you want to, and unless you're working with, you know, whoever's overseeing your care. But really great oil to support respiratory health. It's also great for grief. Yeah, so if you've sort of, yeah, if that's an area, kind of, because if you think about it, it's physical reasons you can't breathe, but also emotional. So kind of, if you need more relaxation in your life, it's a great one, and you can use it at bedtime as well. So 2 oils left. So Deep Blue is known as our soothing blend, and it's amazing for any types of tissue discomfort that you might have, whether that's active lifestyle, manual work, you know, or just general life, you know, wear and tear. You can see all the oils there on the slide that are in this. What does this smell like? I know there's 3 of you, I think, on the call that already has these oils. What does this smell like to you? Does it remind you of anything when you smell it? Don't know if any of you've got it with you.
It does.
It smells like deep heat.
Yeah, which I guess, yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. And sometimes people say tiger balm or germaline as well, like it's similar. Yes. And that's, you know, I think that's probably why they've called it Deep Blue, to be honest, you know, to kind of give that. So yeah, when you know that, it's the camphor, it's the wintergreen, and these oils are all fantastic. They all bring something different to the party for supporting discomforts. Oh, there's actually, yeah, I forgot this one was here. Zengest is the digestive support blend. It's not too much I need to say because it's just anything digestive. So if you have something going on with your digestive system, like occasional discomfort, then this is definitely worth trying. It can be diluted and rubbed on the tummy. You can also take a drop in a glass of water, and you can see all those different plants that go into it. It works really fast generally as well. I've used it before, and I've noticed very, very quick results, which is lovely. That's what we like. And the last oil, the king of oils, frankincense. It's quite a revered oil. It's got a long history of use with meditation and prayer and spiritual kind of work. It encourages inward reflection. People use it for yoga and meditation, and it does so many different things. It's a beauty oil, so you can blend it into your night cream. I have so many customers that swear by frankincense. Like, they tell me they get all these comments, from people complimenting them on their skin. Cellular health, so go Google that, and if you don't already know what I mean, go Google frankincense and cellular health. It's a great one to support anything chronic, and if you're interested in preventative kind of healthcare, go do a bit of Googling around frankincense. Skin, relaxation, lots and lots of different things. It's a really wonderful oil, and it's on its own, it's really expensive, so the fact that doTERRA include it in their starter kits also is an absolute treat, because you can own a bottle, and the starter kits are discounted, so you kind of get to take advantage of that. Okay, any questions so far, guys, before I move on to the last bit?
Sarah, I had just a question about, you mentioned mixing oils with shampoo.
Yeah.
Are you able to mix essential oils with, say, just any normal kind of, standard shampoo that you'd buy in a shop? Or does that kind of damage the oils kind of?
Yeah, it's a good question. It depends what's in the shampoo. Generally speaking, I think it's the same with most people. Like, if they've invested in good quality oils, they're probably using decent quality shampoo. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, yeah, and it's impossible for me to say, I guess, because it depends what's in the shampoo. But but I doubt that it would harm it. I just think if it was a really rubbish shampoo, it's not particularly going to complement the fact that you've got these really high quality essential oils in there. But I wouldn't imagine it's going to damage them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I always just mention these supplements because they are doTERRA's most frequently bought item, and they contain essential oils. And because some essential oils can go into the cells, like we looked at a while ago, I believe that's why they're the most frequently bought item, even though the majority of people come into doTERRA for their oils. This is the most frequently bought item because essential oils, if they can get into the cells, they're going to be carrying the nutrients in these vitamins and minerals and omegas into the cells, and therefore people are going to be feeling the benefits. They're, rather than just taking a supplement and not absorbing. It makes complete sense to me that it's the essential oils in there that's helping the absorption. So one of them is a multivitamin and mineral. The other one is an omega-3, so essential fatty acids, which are important for everything, as I think most of us know now. And the last one is cellular support blend, to help keep our cells clean and healthy, and that will also support longevity. And they actually give a full refund if any of us try this and we don't feel better after 30 days. So I always just say, try it once, because you've got nothing to lose. And I totally can notice the difference when I take this. Or rather, when I stop taking it, I noticed that I start to not feel quite as, I realized that they had given me a boost, and then I kind of feel a little drop. Okay, so I said at the beginning I'd be sharing how you can get the oils if you want to do so. So there's 3 different ways you can do it. So there's one way, is we call this retail, and actually, although it is an option, I never really suggest that people do this because it's not the most economical. It's actually quite an expensive way. If you only want to buy 1 or 2 oils and you can never see yourself buying again, that's probably the only scenario where it's like, okay, yes, that's probably the way to go. But otherwise, everybody gets their oils at wholesale price, a customer wholesale price, and they get an account. It's kind of like membership, and this gives us 25% off the full price, that retail price. And to have the account, to get the account, to then have that option to purchase at 25% off is £24. Or if you get a starter kit, then you get that wholesale account included for free. So that's kind of an even more economical way of doing it. And just before I show you the kits, like broadly speaking, when we run these classes, the majority of people that join and get started are, you know, customers. They just want to use the oils and benefit from them. But also sometimes people are interested to share them with their family and their friends. And then that can sometimes just earn them a little bit of pocket money on the side that can go towards, you know, purchasing a few extra oils for themselves. And then another group of people are people that are interested in doing what I'm doing, or whoever invited you here tonight are doing, and actually helping other people, you know, get the oils into their lives and doing it as a business. And we have, you know, really nice different ways of supporting and educating all those groups. So, you know, if you happen to fall into the second or the third category, you know, let me or let whoever invited you know. And we can kind of connect you up with that support and education. So just to summarize, the £24 is if you just want to sort of select a number of oils and kind of create your own kit, and you still get that membership. You can get a kit, a starter collection, and your membership is free, and you're not having to pay the £24. And also I like to tell people, you know, with this membership, there is no requirement to do anything else after that unless you want to. So you don't have to buy again, no obligation to share, teach or sell, and there's no monthly fees or anything like that. You're not tied in any way. So shall I show you the starter kits, and then we're about finished, I think. So these are the 2 that include the 10 oils that we've spoken about tonight. So these 2 kits are exactly the same oils, actually. They're just the 2 different bottle sizes that doTERRA do. So I think Lisa, was it Lisa or Liz that said they started, you've got a family essentials kit at home? I think it was Lisa. Yeah. And Georgina, what did you start with? I think you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself, Georgina? While she's doing that, oh, there we go. Which one did you start with?
Is it aromatic? Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's an aromatic kit.
Okay, nice. You've got the 8 oils, which is on the next slide. Yeah. And Jill, which one did you go for?
Home Essentials.
Home Essentials. Okay. Yeah. So with these, you know, as I said, they're exactly the same oils. It's just some people, like if your budget allows, the Home Essentials, as it says there, you're getting 3 times the oil for twice the price. So it's better value, and you're getting the diffuser kind of for free as well. The small bottle size or the large bottle size. So it's 112 for the small bottle size for the 10 oils. You get about 85 drops in the small bottle. And then for the large bottle size, you get 250 drops. So yeah. And then the other one is this one here. So that's the third option. This is the one that Georgina started with. And so in here, it's just a slightly different selection of oils. Most of them we've talked about tonight. We haven't talked about Balance, which is a grounding blend. But otherwise, yeah, I think we've spoken about all of those. Oh, Aroma Touch is a massage blend. It kind of smells like peppermint and marjoram, and you get a diffuser. And with this kit, you also get the coconut oil, which is a nice option. doTERRA from time to time offer different kind of incentives or promotions. They don't do this every month. So if you're watching this live in April 2021 and you haven't already got started, you know, this is a good month to do so, because they don't offer these kind of promotions every month for people getting started, but they have got this on this month. So the kit, so it depends which size kit. The largest kit, the kit that I showed, you would get all 3 of those citrus oils. And either of the other 2 kits that I showed, you would get the red mandarin. So let me just show you. So the Family Essentials kit on the left, and then also the Aroma Touch kit, you would get the red mandarin oil. And then the Home Essentials kit, this month you would actually get all 3 of the citrus oils included for free. And also you can't buy red mandarin, so that's also a really lovely treat. You know, like I would love to have a red mandarin. I can't actually buy it because doTERRA don't make enough of it. So it's quite, and also the same with the clementine. So that's a really lovely offer if you're thinking to get started. And then the last slide, the last thing I wanted to I thought it would be nice just to explain, you know, why do you even need membership? Like, what are the benefits other than that you're getting your oils cheaper, which I think is probably, you know, the biggest thing, isn't it? That you're getting them 25% cheaper. But you will get a welcome gift with, you know, either some or all of the items on the bottom, you know, pictured in the bottom left. So a nice kind of little starter selection of, you know, a few of the sample products. You might get an empty rollable, so you can kind of, you know, get making and blending, and you'll get a little reference book as well, that so you can start to look up different ailments and things straight away. What I'm particularly proud and passionate about is on the top right of the screen. We've put together within our team an educational 14-day program where we take 1 oil per day over 14 days, and we teach you how to use it through, you know, live videos like you see there. And basically we get you, you know, undoing your bottles and using them and getting confident, so that by the end of the 14 days, and it's completely free, it's included, it's like a perk of, you know, getting oils through this community, you feel super confident and you know what you're doing by the end of it. And there's other bits there as well. You get a one-to-one session with whoever invited you as well. We're just really hot and passionate on, you know, helping you guys just to know how to use them, benefit from them and enjoy them. You know, they're absolute gifts. Yeah, I just feel that everybody should at least have 1 doTERRA oil in their lives, you know, and just to get to experience the benefits and the joy from using them. So that is everything for tonight. Still got most of us here. I know a couple of people had to shoot off because of little children. Have you guys got any questions from that last bit? I know many of you have been asking questions as we've been going along.
No, thanks, Sarah. That was really, really great. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. And you've got, you've obviously got those remaining drops of oil as well that you can kind of continue to play with. So hopefully tonight, you know, you've got a few ideas of some things that you can do with them as well. And, you know, if I wasn't the person that invited you tonight, you can connect back in, and even, you know, it's quite fun for whoever invited you to send you maybe something to do with, you know, one of those oils each day for the next 5 days, and you can continue to play around with them. Alrighty.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very welcome. Very welcome, Jill. Anything from anyone else?
I kind of like wanted to invite a few people from my nursing discipline, but I thought, you know, perhaps I would be too excited. So I felt it's best for me to attend the first class.
Yeah.
And then when I know what's happening, what's featuring,
Yeah.
I already have 2 who are very, very keen and interested.
Okay.
Yeah, but I thought the first thing is I should attend and have a feel of it so I can be able to explain. So when are we getting this sort of class again? So I can invite them. It was very benefiting for me.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Georgina. Yeah, I run it once a month. So I know tonight's a Thursday, but normally it's always on a Wednesday. So it's always on the first Wednesday of the month.
First Wednesday of the month.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, if anybody's got anybody that they think would be, you know, any friends or family that they think would benefit, then, you know, connect in with whoever invited you, and they can, you know, connect them up as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything from you, Liz, or Barbara, Lisa?
I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. It was lovely to have you.
And
Fine.
drinking the essential oils is just something, I mean, obviously I've talked about the safety of it, but it wouldn't have ever been something I thought of before. But yeah, it was like drinking the peppermint was so much nicer than drinking a peppermint tea. It really was.
Clean, isn't it? Very,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like we were saying about the lavender, it's just got so much depth to it that you don't normally get with essential oils. So I could really tell the difference in it.
Oh, that's great to hear. I mean, actually, everybody that's watching this live, you know, use your lavender oil tonight at bedtime. It would be really lovely for you to kind of tap, like 6 taps, and just rub it into the soles of your feet before you go to sleep, and have a few deep breaths, and just notice how your sleep is, and do that every night until until your little bottle's finished. You probably have enough for, you know, 2 or 3 nights. Yeah.
And then is it possible to get a recording? Because I can see it's live on Facebook.
Yeah.
So how do I get a recording of this?
Because
yeah,
I will be downloading the recording, and I'll make it available to you, Georgina.
Yeah, because I must catch up. I think I was fast asleep. My sleep pattern is really, really bad, Sarah.
Oh yeah, get the lavender out. Yeah. Also, you know, if we are using oils for sleep, you know, if we wake, we don't go, oh, oils don't work, like just forget the lavender. What we do is we use the oil when we wake as well, in the same way. And then we notice over a period of nights if we're waking less, you know, because it's not going to be a magic bullet, you know, where it just so we kind of, it has to be quite playful and explorative. And then if after a week of using lavender like that, then we still don't notice results, then we might try something else like frankincense, or, you know, another one of the sleep oils. Yeah. Okay. Right, thank you. Barbara, Lisa, anything from you before we finish?
And just thanks very much, and my my living room smells really nice now.
Oh, great, thank you. Yes, you should all leave your rooms and come back in before you go to sleep, and you're really because you don't notice it when you're in it, but you'll find if you leave and then come back in, you'll be like, oh, this is beautiful. It smells really good.
Lovely. Right, I'm going to get off. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome. It was a lovely class this evening, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.